Hello everyone, I am Kiran Joshi. Hope you all are doing well. Here's the third and the last video of Class 9 History, Chapter 4 Forest, Society and Colonialism. Dear students, in the second video of this chapter, we learnt about the rebellion that took place in Bastar in 1910 against the forest laws during colonial period in India. Now let's see what was happening in Indonesia, the other part of Asia. The colonial power in Indonesia were the Dutch. They started forest management from Java, which was mostly covered with forests. The Dutch wanted timber from Java to build ships. There were many villages in the fertile plains as well as many communities living in the mountains and practicing shifting cultivation. One such community were Kalangs of Java, who were skilled forest cutters and shifting cultivators. They were very valuable. Without their expertise, it would have been difficult to harvest teak and for the kings to build their palaces. When the Dutch began to take control over the forest in the 18th century, they tried to make the Kalang community work under them. The Kalangs in 1770 rebelled by attacking a Dutch fort at Joanna, but they were suppressed. In the 19th century, the Dutch introduced forest laws in Java that restricted villagers to use forests. Wood could only be cut for specific purposes and from specific forests. Villagers were punished for grazing cattle, transporting wood, or traveling on forest roads with horse cart or cattle. To manage forests for shipbuilding and railways, a forest service was introduced. 2,80,000 sleepers were exported from Java. As to cut the trees, transport the logs, and prepare the sleepers, labor was required. So, for this, the Dutch first imposed rents on land cultivation in the forest, and then they exempted some villages from these rents on this condition that the villagers worked collectively to provide free labor and buffaloes for cutting and transporting timber. This system was called Blandong-Dynsten system. Later they changed the system, and instead of rent exemption, forest villagers were given small wages for their labor, but their right to cultivate land was still restricted. Around 1890, Surentigo Salmon of Rendublettung village, teak forest village, began questioning about state ownership of the forest. He gave the argument that the state had not created the wind, water, earth, or wood, and wood. Therefore, it could not own it. A widespread movement developed, and by 1907, around 3,000 families were following his ideas. They started protesting. Some laid down on their land when the Dutch came to survey it, and some refused to pay taxes or fines or to work. This was about the rebellion of forest people. Now let's see how the war affected on forests. The First World War and the Second World War had a major impact on forests. At that time in India, the forest department cut trees freely so that they could fulfill the British war needs. And in Java, just before Japanese could occupy it, the Dutch followed a scorched earth policy. They destroyed sawmills and burnt huge piles of large teak logs to prevent them falling into Japanese possession. Soon after that, the Japanese occupied the region, and now they exploited the forests of Java for their own war industries, for which they forced forest villagers to cut down forest. Now this became an opportunity for many villagers to expand their cultivation in forests. When the war ended, the Indonesian Forest Service found it actually very difficult to get back this land from villagers. There were conflicts between villagers and forest department. From 1980s onwards, the governments across Asia and Africa started considering that scientific forestry and the policy of keeping forest communities away from forests has resulted in many conflicts. In contrast of the earlier aim of getting timber from forest, the conservation of forests became the more important goal. It is also realized that this goal of conserving forest can be achieved only by the involvement of people who live near the forests. For example, from Mizoram to Kerala, dense forests have survived only because they were protected by the villages in the form of sacred groves known as saranas, Devarakudu, Rai, etc. Some villages patrol their own forests. Each house in the village take turn to do the patrolling instead of leaving this task to the forest guard. In present time, local forest communities and environmentalists are thinking of different forms to manage forests. So children, this is all about the chapter. Now some questions for revising the topic. So the first question is, describe the Samanist movement in Indonesia. Second, what impact did the First and Second World Wars have on the forest across the world? Third, what new developments have occurred in Asia and Africa in recent times? Hope you liked the video and found it helpful. Thank you.